It is... What's up, guys? The men's forums are always excellent. Just a heads up, we have it tomorrow for men only. Rebuildingtheman.com/events. Rebuildingtheman.com/men. But this is the Hake Report right now. It's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. It's Wednesday, September 1st, 2021 AD. And boy, do I have a song for you. This track, I like to play Christian music at the beginning of my show and in the middle of it. This is from the Knights of the New Crusade, before we get fully blown started. This track is called Sympathy for Jesus, from the 2004 album My God is Alive, Sorry About Yours. Songs in praise of our Lord God and in condemnation of sin. Hope you enjoy it. If not, just cover your ears or press mute, or just skip ahead a couple of minutes or less, roughly. But enjoy and rest easy. I'll talk you through it, and we'll get started with the show. Knights of the New Crusade, boys and girls.
Doo-doo! Doo-doo!
Can you guess my name?
Thy name is Mud, varlet.
They can't do the Rolling Stones like that, says Raymond Lewis.
How about some sympathy for Jesus, baby? You know he sympathized for you. He doesn't need it, he only wants it, and I think it's the right thing to do. So how about some sympathy for Jesus? You know he sympathized for you. When you're sitting in your home and you think you're alone, just remember Jesus is there too. He knows what you're up to and what's going on. Yeah, he sees everything that you do. How about some sympathy for Jesus? You know I sympathize for you.
I think this is takeoff from the song Sympathy for the Devil.
Do you pick up your Bible to read what it said? Or do you just watch TV? You don't want to hear it just secondhand from a preacher or a singer like me. So how about listening to Jesus, huh? You know it's the right thing to do. When Mick Jagger pretended to be the devil, you know he was playing the fool. When he's trying to serve margarita's master, you're just a hellhound tool. That's why I sympathize with Jesus, because he's the one who's always cool.
Sounds like some old Jimi Hendrix, says William Bowser. Thank you, man. Sounds like something from a Tarantino film, says Shaggy Boy. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, Sympathy for the Devil is
When
a...
mankind was lost, he put himself on the cross because he loved you so well. He went to the land of the dead, kicked in Satan's head, and grabbed the keys of hell. How about some love for Jesus? He's got a lot of love for you.
That's right. So good. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that. Looky here at Hake Music. Anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. We have quite a bunch of mess going on in the world. A whole lot of lies ruling. And yet, the people who are trying to combat misinformation are the ones pushing the lies. What a terrible mess. Taking Care of Business Bear says about my Knights of the New Crusade song, sounds like Elvis, except for the voice. Nice. I have a couple of super chats that I would like to read. First super chat is from someone yesterday. I don't think that I read this super chat from someone. Would you consider your Richard Spencer interview to be one of your favorites. Yes. I enjoyed practically all of, I feel like I'm losing my voice. I've enjoyed practically all of my interviews. I've had very few, actually, interviews on the Hake Report. I've interviewed very few. Or is she talking about my appearance on Richard Spencer's show, which I also enjoyed. I liked him. I liked talking with that guy. It was interesting. He's an atheist. For those of you who don't know, Richard Spencer, many of you guys do know, is an atheist Nietzsche reader. He's supposedly credited with founding the alt-right, but I don't think that he founded it. He was probably a little bit too young. He's in his early 40s, I want to say. And I think he's a single father. And he's into the white thing. He's given up on America, although he did endorse sleepy Joe Biden. He was big for Trump in 2016 and 2017. He's the one who got punched in the face by a Antifa male, not a man. Just sucker punched in the face on the streets of Washington, D.C., I do believe. I think it was Inauguration Day of January 20th, 2017, if I'm not mistaken. It was around the time that Trump got elected or just took office. And he was there in Charlottesville, Virginia. Charlottesville is when the alt-right really splintered. The people who were pro-America nationalists, some of them in favor of the white thing, into keeping the country white, right? Which is not a bad thing to do. It's actually a good thing to do. Keep the country mostly white. Because the whites, the majority of them are for what's right. Or at least they're not as off the deep end liberal, that's for sure. What a mess. Terrible mess. Especially the Christians, right? And he calls himself culturally a Christian. He thinks it's a sad thing that he is no longer Christian. But he gave up on Trump. He gave up long ago on America. He thinks it's over. But those of us with hope, we don't give up. He hasn't given up on everything. He's still fighting for what he thinks, but what a shame. People get misguided, right? He's educated, intellectual. But I did enjoy talking with him. Some of you guys call him, they think that he's immoral. In short, they think that he's immoral. And I haven't seen it personally, but yeah, I would say probably so. Misty Moriton gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report and said the Jewish community did not trust the woman to tell the truth about paternity, meaning who the father was. So that's why maternity determines the child's religion at birth. I don't know if it meant religion, Misty Morton. Talk shows and paternity/DNA tests did not exist in the Old Testament. James, you are not the daddy. That's a reference to Maury. Maury? What's that guy's first name? Maury. Do you know? Maury. The Maury Show. Excuse me. Maury Povich. Oh, that's his first name. That is his first name. Oh, that's why you were telling me that. Maury Povich. He does paternity tests on people. You are not the father. And I think he does lie detector tests too, right? That was a lie. Not that I've watched too much of it, guys. But I like a little mess here and there. Seeing a little bit of the mess in the world. Well, thank you, Misty Morton. I think you mean heritage at birth rather than religion, because most Jewish people are not religious. Seems like most, at least the ones that I've seen in the mainstream, the ones who are out front, atheistic, anti-Christian, anti-God, anti-America, liberals, in short. And they are very female-oriented. Whether or not they know now to trust the woman, they're definitely trusting the woman now, right? Who trusted Satan. What a terrible mess. He's married to a commie. Connie Chung. Is that true? Maury Povich. Or am I reading it wrong? Wife. Oh my gosh, I did not know that. He married Connie Chung. Connie Chung being, isn't she that Asian female reporter woman who was big when I was a kid? NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, MSNBC. Whoa. She's been around. Connie Chung. Constance Yu-Hua Chung. So-called American journalist. They call her an American journalist. Well, I mean, whatever. Yeah, I did not know that. Wow, he interracially married. Maury Povich, 82. Connie Chung, 75. And that was his second wife, by the way, I think. He was married to Phyllis Minkoff from 62 to 79. Terrible. Terrible, terrible. Lord, God bless Lord Good Hair, says Lin Yen Chin with the Trovo colorful chat. Skateboard Chris Saturday. Ankle Blouse Nick. JLP and the rest of your crew. The white baby engineers too. Thank you, Lin Yen Chin, for the well wishes. I'm going to get to your calls, guys. I'm going to talk about some stuff going on. The abortion is a major topic right now because the liberals hate the babies and hate men, the men whose babies they are, so they want to kill the babies and kill the men. Lin Yen Chin also says, Richard Spencer is an effeminate, a.k.a. intellectual mess. Whoa. I don't necessarily agree, Richard. Well, intellectual, yeah, which is sort of effeminate. That is true, actually. Yikes. A pathetic millennial dollar store version. Actually, he's Gen X. Did you know that? But hangs out with millennials and Zoomers. Dollar store version of a much greater and real man, David Duke. Whoa. Whoa, Lin Yen Chin. You like Dr. Duke? You think Dr. Duke is a real man? Okay. Just my view as a slow black man who is also part Chinese, says Lin Yen Chin. Interesting, man. I appreciate the super chats and the support and the observations. Never thought of Dr. Duke that way. I've seen him in interviews a couple of times. We've invited him on the JLP show. He seems kind of scripted, in my opinion. But I guess that's what you become when you try to become a politician, and especially when you become educated. And I do believe he has a doctorate. People slurring Dr. Duke as immoral. Yikes. I wasn't trying to go that far. Spencer is a Wignat. What is that? White nationalist? Is Wignat short for white nationalist? Essentially? More or less, yeah. More or less. Is it a slur for white nationalists? Terrible. Oh. Is that what it means? The W word. The W word that my caller, what's his name, from John from Kentucky, called in complaining that I chuckled at Kevin from Chicago, Illinois, calling the white guys who are YouTubers who are going and punching out the blacks in highly publicized boxing matches. Those brothers on YouTube, Logan Paul and his brother, I forget his brother's name, who's Jake Paul. He's like, oh, they're W words. Can I say wigger? They're wiggers, is what he was saying. Wigger nationalist. They're wiggers, but they make the right people angry. The right people being the people who hate whites, right? Because Logan Paul and Jake Paul are white. They don't exactly have entire white culture, but they do have a go-get-it. They do have a go-get-em mindset. They're young and talented and go-get-em. And they're showboaters, which is not a bad thing. But why do you call Richard Spencer that? Would you call Richard Spencer that? No? Okay. Just out of curiosity. Thank you, guys. Speaking of people getting mad over the N-word, which is the parent of the W word, I want to show you guys a clip of a black using the N-word without the hard R, but it's irrelevant. He definitely wasn't using it. They say, oh, if you don't use the hard R on the N-word, which is N-gur as opposed to N-guh. Oh, N-guh is affectionate. Yeah, right. Listen to how this guy says N-guh. This is clip 11 from today. But it's not affectionate. This is from the Jesse Lee Peterson show. It just came to mind yesterday afternoon. And so I went and searched it out. It clipped by the anchor baby, Nicolas. Shout out to Nick. This is from a year ago, I think in I forget when. But it's on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Caller brings all the black out of Jesse. This is the clip. Listen to this guy named Atticus, who's black, who calls JLP a slur. And rest easy, guys. Nick did bleep it. So, but you can still make out, fill in the blank of what he said. It's a very brief clip. Listen to this.
Beta!
Hang yourself, nigga.
Beta! See how violent he is?
Terrible.
Violent. Because they can't have it the truth.
Crazy. So that guy said and you saw I screen recorded that on my phone. That's why you see all that extra stuff if you watched. He said, hang yourself, Inga. And so if he said Inga, it didn't sound affectionate when it was coupled with hang yourself. And he's black. I bet you the last word that many blacks hear before they are murdered is that Inga word before they're shot fatally. I bet you. And it's not whites who are saying it. It's fellow blacks. And in some cases, Hispanics. Because Hispanic on black crime is a common one, too. What a mess. And is that a reference to lynching? So malicious. So thank you, blacks, for proving that you don't care about the N-word. You just angry, want to control the whites. What a terrible mess. Again, I'm going to get to this abortion thing. And have you ever heard of the ABC link? I think I've mentioned it multiple times on my show, so many of you probably have. Many of you who have listened to the Jesse Lee Peterson show for any number of years have heard about this. There is a major attack on children, and there's this woman who lost custody of her child, 39-year-old, I guess she's a single mother. I guess her husband brought this forward, ex-husband, I guess. The judge is taking away her custody because she's not, quote-unquote, vaccinated. It sounds ridiculous, but I'm not sure. I may feel a little conflicted about it because I think the child should go with the father anyway. So even though it's for a silly, dumb reason, and I don't think the judge is a Christian, by the way. I might take it. I don't know, though. It's a big mess. But first, let me get to Brent in South Carolina. He wants to disagree with me on capital punishment. Brent, thank you for holding and calling. What's up? How are you?
Hey, can you hear me right?
I can hear you okay. Are you on a speakerphone?
Hang on.
Hang on. South Carolina. I can detect that accent.
Oh, yeah, right. What's going on?
And not much. What's going on with you?
Oh, nothing much. I just wanted to know what you really thought about capital punishment because I don't know how that's Christian.
Oh, capital punishment? How is it not Christian?
Yeah.
I am for capital punishment. Are you a Christian?
You think that's Christian? Yeah.
You are a Christian. And how is it
Yes,
not
sir.
Christian? Capital punishment, for those of you who don't know, is when you execute a criminal who's committed a capital crime, meaning a murder, sometimes a rape, sometimes you steal a cow in especially hard times. That means death to the family, and they would execute people even for robbery in those cases, I think. So you're not for that?
Yeah. I don't know. If you're against abortion, why are you going to let the state control and believe in the state well enough to kill people? That's insane to me.
Oh, you're talking about a completely different subject then, in a sense.
The capital punishment is
I
the state
get
killing people.
I know, but you're talking about the trusting the state. In principle, I support the capital punishment. I understand your point that
but who gets to decide? The state gets
the men of the society need the men of the society need to take back over the state so that the laws are just and are justly executed. I totally agree with you on that. Right now, it's run by women. Yeah. Female. I totally agree with you that female-minded liberals, such as this capital punishment of Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof is a guy who shot up. That church.
Oh yeah, he was. He was on street drugs.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. I think I knew that.
He was on Suboxone and something else. Like he was on street drugs. He was a psychopath on drugs.
Yeah. Well, they wanted capital punishment not because he committed mass murder, not because he murdered supposedly innocent people, but because it was a hate crime, which is an imaginary thing that is not a just reason to execute a person, because a hate crime is imaginary. That is that's basically criminalizing political enemies. So
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So are you a libertarian though?
I don't know what I am, because at this point, there's so many terms that you can call yourself. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I know that. I'm apolitical, I guess. I don't know what to call myself anymore, because you can make up a lot of words about it, but I know what I believe.
Oh, okay. Are you a Nazi? Are you a Ron Paul guy?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
So you're not apolitical.
Yeah. I love Ron Paul. Like, he's the only politician I've ever seen speak in public that I was with my mother and my sister-in-law. They're both whatever, and we loved him.
Nice.
I saw him speak in Clemson.
Okay. How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I guess.
You telling me to guess? 40.
48.
48. Okay.
48.
And you don't? Do you take any drugs?
I look 40.
Right on. Do you take any drugs?
I smoke cigarettes and drink a little beer.
Okay. No pot?
Not well. You got any?
Whoa. Is that a yes? Is that a yes at times?
I don't mind. I don't mind smoking pot, but I just don't.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. Well, I appreciate it, man. I saw a Ron Paul clip from 10, 11 years ago. It was shared on Asmodor's The Crypto Report Official. Oh, TKR Official on Telegram. He's been banned on so many places. He shared a Ron Paul clip about this Afghanistan situation, calling us to get out of there, or else we'll be there another 10 years. And he called it. So I used to think that Ron Paul, I'm sure that I fell for some of the propaganda, but also the way he presented himself in some of these debates was just, he sounded kind of silly, a little slightly effeminate. And so I fell for, he's just a joke. But no, he was right about a lot of stuff. And maybe, is he still alive and talking to this day? Yeah, to this day, he's right.
No, I can, I like Jimmy Carter. I've shook his hand before, but he wasn't good at politics. That's we're up against the military-industrial complex, in my view.
I think that Jimmy Carter is a phony Christian, because he's like a nice guy, and nice guys are not real Christians.
Well, okay.
I mean, how can you be a Democrat and be a Christian?
That was back in the 80s, dude, or the 70s.
But even then, people knew that Democrats were for evil. And to this
Well, I
day, he
thought
has
that
not
you would,
repented.
like,
I have never heard Jimmy Carter reject the course of the Democrat Party or decry the
Yeah,
evil course of the
you're
Democrat
right.
Party.
Oh yeah, no. Growing up, I thought like being a Democrat was. I was a knee-jerk liberal. I thought being a Democrat was being anti-war,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's what I am. Most of all, like
Okay.
you have to pick
Yeah.
your issues. Like, what's your hill to die on? Like anti-war. That's me.
All
like
right.
that's Christian.
Okay. All right. Suit yourself, man. I appreciate it. It's nice to hear from you, man. Were you did you have your father growing up?
Yeah, always. You what?
Did you have your father growing up? You mentioned your mother and sister. Is your dad around?
Oh yeah, my dad's a boss. You would love him.
Okay, cool. Well, man, I hope you enjoyed Men's History Month last month. Call again, Brent.
Hell yeah, yeah. I wish my dad would listen to it, but he's probably getting. He's a boomer, and I think the boomers are going beta.
True. I mean, yeah. I mean, so many. I think each generation has gotten more and more beta, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Sad to see. I love you, brother.
Thank you, Brent. Love you too, man. Take care.
Take care.
Oh my gosh, Chad in Canada has a question for me. Chad, what's up?
Happy birthday, Hake.
Thank you, man. Happy birthday to me. It's been my birthday since July 17th, and now we're in September 1st. Awesome.
Amazing. So my question was, when did you ever first hear that W word?
That W word, W-I-G-G-E-R.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. I think it might have been, I believe that it was before high school. In high school, I was quite aware of it because there was a Vandals song, I think, or maybe a sort of Jelly Beans. It's some secular punk rock band that my friends were into, or one of my friends. It was called Wiggerside instead of Riverside,
Okay.
called Wiggerside because a lot of the Riverside whites acted black.
Right.
And so that was, high school, a little bit before maybe.
Okay. Well, that's about the same time I heard it then, because I'm a little bit older than you.
Okay.
And I think I was in grade 12 when I first heard it. And our description was, it was the white guys that wore their jeans below their waist, and they were wearing those baseball caps with the sticker still on them.
Yeah.
And they were talking like they grew up in the Bronx. Like as a Canadian, it's like, well, how did you learn to talk like that?
Wow.
I think that was our description of what the W word was.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, but basically acting like gangsters.
Yeah. Right. And sagging their pants, acting black. Sagging their pants.
Exactly.
That particular street black.
But it wasn't a nice term. Like it was kind of to put them down. Like why don't
Yes.
you like grow up and act like a man?
Right. Yep.
So
Some of the whites couldn't help it necessarily because they grew up around blacks and with their mothers only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly in the cities are POCs, I would say. Well, especially in Alberta. Like I used to haul grain, and I've never met a farmer who was not white.
Interesting.
Like there's lots of Ukrainians.
Yeah.
Germans, Europeans too,
Right.
But I never ran into a Muslim farmer or a black farmer or anything like that. It's just interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that it's easy to get into farming,
Right. True. Yeah, I mean, I hear about these black farmers that Sleepy Joe Biden is favoring. I'm like, where are they? And I'm sure that there are like a handful, but it seems like an affirmative action move for sure. And it's not a positive thing. What a mess.
Yeah, but it's probably a generational farm,
Yeah. I think a lot of the W words though, I can't say W word because nobody knows what I'm talking about. A lot of the
Right.
Is it wrong to say wigger? A lot of the wiggers
I don't think so.
I think come from suburbs, not necessarily cities. Because, everybody likes hip hop, right? Doesn't everybody like rap? including the Mexicans and the Asians who hate blacks worse than whites do? Because they had to grow up around them in LA. Yeah.
I was called racist by white people that were wiggers.
Right.
Because I did not like rap. I could never get into it. I don't know why.
Right.
It's not a race thing. It's just I never could appreciate that music. But I was called like a racist for being that, not loving that type of music,
Yeah. Well, don't worry about it. How old are you, Chad, if you don't mind my asking?
I'll be 47 soon.
Okay. Yeah. Solidly Gen X. Nice.
Or 48. I never know. I was 35 for 3 years in a row once until someone actually did the math for me.
Wow. You are old.
Yeah, but 74. So.
Okay.
I think I'm 47 this year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, Chad.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Thanks. You too.
I heard about this mother who had her child taken away from her because she's unvaccinated. And it's a story, USA Today, The Hill, Washington Compost, says Rebecca Furlet, 39-year-old woman, told the Chicago Sun-Times, she's out of Illinois, a Chicago judge revoked custody of her 11-year-old son until she gets so-called vaccinated, quote-unquote vaccinated, against the China virus. And this judge is Cook County, that's envelops Chicago, Judge James Shapiro, who said the mother could not see her 11-year-old son. One of the first things he asked me was whether or not I was vaccinated, Furlet said. Rebecca Furlet, that is. Interesting. The child's father is so-called vaccinated. Whoa. So in other words, the child has two mothers. Playing around, totally playing around. But she appealed the decision. Father did not even bring the issue before the court. So it's the judge on his own making the decision that you can't see your child until vaccinated. Yes, Shapiro is the name. James Shapiro, Cook County judge. I don't think that this person is a Christian, this judge. I don't know. I was about to say abortion is evil. Divorce, God hates divorce. That is in the Bible. 2 judges in Ohio have also ordered some people receive the vaccine as a condition of their probation. You mean to stay out of jail? There was a judge in Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge, who offered some defendants the option of getting vaccinated instead of completing community service hours. Oh my gosh. I think I would rather take the slave labor. New York, judges in the Bronx and Manhattan ordered defendants to get a vaccine as part of their rehabilitation and as a condition for seeking bail. So ridiculous. Matthew Dweven is Rebecca Furlet's ex-husband. I think I have a picture of this woman. I think I might take child custody away from her, Rebecca Furlet, just based on that excessive eyeshadow and bags under her eyes. Is that uncharitable of me? But I would give it to ex-husband Matthew Dweven. I don't know anything about Matthew, Duiven. I don't know if judges should be mediating this mess. I don't think that people should be allowed to get divorced unless it's cheating involved. And even then, maybe. Furlet was befuddled by the judge's question. I was confused because it was just supposed to be about expenses and child support. I asked him what it had to do with the hearing. He said, I am the judge, and I make the decisions for your case. Power tripping James Shapiro. No relation to me. even though he has my first name. James, that's a New Testament name. There are children who have died because of COVID. I think every child should be safe. And I agree the mother should be vaccinated, said the father's attorney. I bet the father's attorney did say that. Lawyers/liars. Jeffrey Leving, Leving. Terrible. I mean, there have been like very few children who've been dead from catching the virus, and very few people who have been dead from taking the vaccine. I don't know. Some of them are underage still. Allegedly, according to Ledgeklinger, the ruling was overturned due to public pressure, says Ledgeklinger. And Ledgeklinger is on top of things. So this may be old news that I'm giving you. But, you know, it's just evil what they're pushing. There's this woman who says, I'm a black doctor. My mom still won't get the vaccine, and I can't really blame her. That's in The Atlantic. The Atlantic is a far-left enemies of America outlet. Enemies of white people, enemies of Christians. Just your typical liberal mainstream media news, right? Terrible. Rick in Maine, he wants to respond to a call a couple of days ago, or maybe even last week, from Bible Go-To Guy on women. Rick in Maine, how are you doing?
Not bad. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing well, thank you.
All right.
So so just refresh my memory and refresh the memory of my listeners, because I like this topic. I remember that you called in saying women think that men want wives to be their slaves. And you said, that's not true. And then Bible Go-To Guy called in and said, well, honestly, I think Rick from Maine is being a beta because they are effectively our slave, or the man's slave, because the lieutenant is the slave of the general. He has to follow orders. And so I'm like, oh, you know what? You're making a good point, Bible Go-To Guy, because women use terms like slavery and harassment and all that stuff when they have a disagreement with the man as a emotional word in order to control the man and then make him back down from standing solidly on what's right and being a man. So you wanted to respond to that, to being called beta, and to the notion that women are indeed supposed to be the slave of their husband. Go ahead,
yeah,
Rick.
I would, because there's a fine line between a woman's position in the family according to what it's supposed to be and an actual slave.
All right.
It's called respect. If a man takes care of his wife respectfully, then things go much different. If he treats her like a slave, quote unquote, then he has no respect for her.
Well,
that's what I was trying to get at, but he misinterpreted it, and
I think I got you. I think I got you. And not to be one of those Reddit bros who say, actually, or maybe I am one of those Reddit bros who says, actually, even the Bible, I know that you're using the figure of speech where the man has, there's probably out there some instances where a man is just silly, playing boss rather than actually the boss. And he orders the woman around or whatever.
We see that quite often in these assault and battery cases where the man would lose his cool and abuse the woman by beating her. That's disrespectful. That's what I think is disrespectful. He thinks that she ought to be 100% under his thumb and do anything that he wishes her to do right then.
You know,
if you ask if you ask a woman to do something, ask a woman to do something, and she refuses, then you can have a little bit of a debate about it.
I like
But if you tell,
Yeah, go on.
if you tell a woman to do something, then she gets the idea that she's being treated as a slave. The reason why I say this is because my youngest sister had such a relationship. The man cared for her, and he did take care of her for the time that they was together, but he didn't ask her to do anything because she's like me. You ask me to do something, I'll do it if it's reasonable. If you tell me to do something, I put up with 13 years of that in the military. And you do what you're told to do.
Right.
You're property of the United States government at that point in time. You have to comply unless it breaks Article 15 UCMJ laws of the military.
Yeah.
United States Code of Military Justice.
But doesn't the woman belong to the man? The Bible says the woman belongs to the man and the man to the woman.
It does, but here we go with that fine gray line, James.
You said that line is respect.
Yes. Yes.
But
if
the Bible
he disrespects her and beats her, that's a different story, because that's what some of the slave masters did back in the day. If they were told to do something, notice I said the word told,
right,
then they got themselves beat.
Well, the Bible does say slaves be just to your slave masters, be just to your slaves.
Right.
And
with some respect.
I don't know.
And
I think that the respect, honestly, Rick, I think the respect is more supposed to come from the woman to the man. The woman is supposed to respect her husband. The Bible says nothing about a man respecting his wife. He's supposed to love her. And the slave is supposed to respect his master. And so the woman is supposed to respect her husband in the same way, I think. I'm slightly concerned about this. And it's funny because men are God's slaves. You cannot serve two masters, says pronounce
That's
it.
right. You
Malkuth,
can't ride two horses at the same time.
Malkuth X says you got to be an effeminate incel to disagree with this caller, meaning you, Rick from Maine. If anybody disagrees with Rick from Maine, according to Malkuth X, you got to be an effeminate incel to disagree. So I think he agrees with you. I think that's what that means, unless he's an effeminate incel. And by being a Reddit bro, I wasn't saying source. That was debunked. Do you have a source? Punish says, no, I wasn't using that one. But actually, how do you get this respect thing? Because how is that different from love? I think love is supposed to be the fine line. A man must love his wife, but that includes being her boss.
Well, this all fits together as very small pieces to a puzzle fit together. I mean, you got to have the whole outline to make everything work. You know, and I have seen spousal abuse when I was growing up. The way that my mother treated my stepfathers, I said plural, because I was there to witness it. And the opposite was the true, because she thought that the man was going to be the slave.
Yeah.
And she treated him as such.
Shameful.
So there was no respect there. There might have been a marriage there.
Yeah.
But there was no respect. I mean, she did not respect him for his position, and she did not respect him for being the head of the family. You know, in the case of my own father, twice coming back to try to make things work, and she throws the past history of her past history in his face every time. She never could move forward to allow that relationship to transpire.
So you've seen it done the wrong way. How do you how do you know what the right way is?
You really have to stop, and you've got to look at the scenario. You know, if a couple have an argument, and it's just an argument or debate, whichever way you'd like to look at it, then there's a solution. But if it turns around to be aggressive, confrontational, abusive in a lot of cases, which, like I said, I've witnessed this.
Yeah.
And that's a different story.
I think that when men and women fight, it's because they start out debating, and it shouldn't be even up for debate, honestly. Because
that's right.
A woman oftentimes will start being intellectual, and intellectuals will rationalize anything. And yeah, I get sometimes the man has the wrong idea, but they shouldn't debate, neither respectfully nor disrespectfully. They should not debate, because that's not, the truth isn't found in debates, as Lin Yen Chin pointed out yesterday. The truth is the truth. Either you see it or you don't, and sometimes the woman just won't see it, and that's why you just say, just do it, and then they do it, and then later on they see, oh, okay, you were right. You know what I mean?
I see that in my brother's relationship with his wife.
Uh-huh.
Because that's exactly how it goes.
Nice.
They'll have an argument. He will ask her to do something the way he wants it done.
Yeah.
And she'll go right against his wishes. And the next thing you know, hours or days later, she's saying, I'm sorry, but you was right.
Okay. Oh,
so
she's saying that she was right or he was right?
No, he was right.
Oh, she'll admit that he was right.
She will do that.
Okay. Well, I guess it's a start. After 50 years, as JLP says, we'll see how it goes.
Well, she's a good person. He's a very outspoken, very direct type of person.
Nice.
As I can be.
That's cool.
You know, but it's just the fact of if you ask somebody, as my great-grandmother always used to say, you can attract more flies with honey rather than vinegar. So in other words, if you're using a nasty attitude,
right,
you're not going to get the response that you're looking for.
True.
If you act respectfully, then you'll get what you ask for, usually. Not always.
Yeah. Are you married, Rick? If you don't mind my
separated.
asking. Separated? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. Hope you had a happy Men's History Month.
I did. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed you guys' shows along with it.
Cool.
So, bottom line, last comment, Bible go-to guy, I heard what you're saying. It caused me to stop and think, which everybody has to do before you react.
Nice.
Don't jump from the frying pan into the fire. Have a good one. Thanks for your time, James.
You too, Rick. Appreciate you. Take care. Colin Barrett says, modern day debate, Rick from Maine versus Bible go-to guy. Make it happen. Make it happen, James Kuntz, if you're watching. Rick from Maine versus Bible go-to guy. Should the wife be considered a form of a slave to her husband? Rick says the difference is respect. Quickly, guys, there's one line open. 888-775-3773. Speaking of abortion and women, this phony idea of respect for women. There's a phony idea of respect for women. I don't think that's what Rick means. I read about this in Hake News in hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. Today's Wednesday, September 1st, 2021 AD. Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. I read about the decrying of the assault on women's right to choose. Right to choose, which is a euphemism for the imaginary right of a woman and her hypocritical doctor who's going back on his Hippocratic oath not to do no harm, oath to do no harm, to kill a baby in the womb, or sometimes deliver the baby outside the womb and then kill the baby, the man's baby. Well, the far-left female-run outlet, the Skim people, are talking out of both sides of their mouth because they were complaining about Texas is making this abortion law that once a fetus, meaning a baby, has a heartbeat, then you can't kill the baby inside the womb. And that can be as early as 6 weeks before many women even know they're pregnant. And so that'll cut out about 85% of abortions, they say, meaning baby killings, right? That's what abortion is. Well, the Skim is also saying, here's a new word for you, and this is for mothers. Matrescence. Matrescence. M-A-T-R-E-S-C-E-N-C-E. It means the process of becoming a mother, meaning getting pregnant and having the baby, right? It's kind of like adolescence, they say, because there are so many new things happening mentally and physically, meaning to your body, all at once. Isn't that interesting? And yet you think you can interrupt this process and abort this process? And your body stays healthy from that? I don't know. I'm a little leery of that assumption. It leads some people to think there's something wrong with them. By people, they mean women, females, right? Because only females, actual females, women and girls who are over like 9 or 12 or 13 or whatever the youngest age of a pregnant woman ever has been, they think there's something wrong with them. But unlike puberty, you, meaning the woman, might experience these things every time a woman has a baby. And it can continue well past 3 trimesters, which is the pregnancy, the 9 months, right? And so they urge you to read more about what to expect when you're expecting a baby, right? Meaning you already have the baby in your womb for the woman. And I say that's right. Ever heard of the ABC link? I've talked about this multiple times. I've referenced it. You can watch a video from Jesse Lee Peterson's YouTube from back when I was a producer, a humble producer. January 22nd, 2014, we put this out. The real war on women. Doctor exposes the breast cancer and abortion link. Abortion, breast cancer link. ABC link. Joel Brind, a Ph.D. Joel, kind of like Joel, Joel, but he's white. Brind, B-R-I-N-D, or maybe Brind, but I think it's Brind. Ph.D. is a professor of human biology and endocrinology, deputy chair for biology at Baruch College and City University of New York, or at least he was. He has a B.S., not bogus speech, not the other word, but Bachelor in Science from Yale and Ph.D. from NYU in basic medical sciences. Dr. Joel Brind, is an expert on the abortion breast cancer link. Since Roe v. Wade, 1973, at least in 2014, 55 million babies were aborted in the United States. Roe v. Wade is the disgraceful Supreme Court decisions that said, oh, a woman's right to kill the baby is part of the doctor-patient right to privacy relationship. It's stupid. And I think there were Republican so-called judges who ruled in favor of this, by the way. Did you know that? In 1973. How long have Republicans been cowards and liars and evil? Man, I did not know this. I thought it was only Democrats. But indeed, Republicans too. Who knows? What a mess. But Joel Brind posted an article in Heartbeat International, which is a pro-life organization that I used to support for years. I did. After hearing them on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, heartbeatservices.org. It's an undated article titled Abortion Breast Cancer Link Explodes in Asia. Of course, there are liberals such as The Atlantic in December 2013 that talks about the faulty science of the abortion breast cancer link by Abby Ohlheiser. And there is another so-called doctor who's an abortionist, David Grimes, abortionist, promoter. He wrote a piece in Huffington Post, which is extremist liberal. They're such a joke that they treated Trump like a joke. Huffington Post. Did you know that? During the 2016 run for president, they didn't put Trump in politics section. They put him in entertainment section. We're not going to treat Trump like he's a legitimate candidate for president. And then he won. Made them look stupid because they are stupid. That's Huffington Post. Ridiculous outlet. Liberals, extremist liberals, female run, pro Black Lives Matter, pro feminist, everything evil they're in favor of. But back in 2013, according to The Atlantic, in 5 U.S. states, physicians are required by law to tell women seeking an abortion about a possible link. This was in December of 2013. A possible link between induced abortion and increased rates of breast cancer. You know, you're supposed to have informed consent. The lines are full, guys. Hang tight. Lines are full. Informed consent, meaning you're supposed to know the risks and supposed benefits of any procedure, meaning a vaccine, which we don't know the long-term risks of these vaccines yet because it hasn't been around yet long enough to study the long-term risks, okay? And abortion has long-term risks, but they want to suppress that information because they're politically motivated. There's just one problem from a standpoint of, listen to this buzzword, scientific consensus. Science is not a consensus. It is either proven or disproven. It's not a democracy. That link is mainly bunk, according to this Abby Ohlheiser, Ohlheiser. Probably not a Christian. Pro-abortion, she sounds like. And she writes for The Atlantic, or wrote for The Atlantic. It is, however, a persistent theory. As a round of conservative press promoting a new study on the subject demonstrates, the paper published in the Cancer Causes Control journal looked at a result of 36 studies in China on what activists have named the ABC link, abortion breast cancer link, concluding that women who undergo an induced abortion demonstrate dramatically increased risk of breast cancer. The Wire is a subdivision of The Atlantic, and they asked an epidemiologist to look at the results in case the theory finally had the breakthrough it was waiting for. Spoiler alert, it hasn't. Shameful, huh? But this other guy, David Grimes, according to Joel Brind, is upset because there are bumper stickers that warn that abortion increases the risk of breast cancer. And I've heard other people say this. I don't know. I'm just saying that it's quite possible. It's quite, actually, if you think about it, think about how the changes that a woman's body goes through in having, because only women and girls can get pregnant. All kinds of stuff happens. They start lactating, and then all of a sudden you stop that and cut the baby out of the woman's body, kill the baby. Not to mention the extra thing the false guilt that comes upon a woman from doing that. Because now she's killed her baby, or she's let a doctor kill her baby. And so a lot of women are plagued by this guilt. And guilt kills. Because it's the same thing as this anger stuff, right? And women have increased risk. Why? Because they're confusing their body? Asks Super Dave. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because they're producing all this different stuff in preparation to have the baby, and then it's never used on the baby. That's, as Joel Brind, you can watch the video from, I guess, January 2014 in the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Part of the interview is there. But this David Grimes guy references how it was debunked. That theory was debunked long ago. So 1997 and 2008, there were a couple of studies that Joel Brind says were methodologically flawed, reporting that there were no abortion breast cancer link existing. So, the mainstream media wants to jump all down it because they are in support of killing babies in the womb. They're in support of evil women degenerating into ever increasing evil. They hate men. They hate men's babies. They're full of this false love that let the woman kill the baby. That's all right. You can't force a woman to be a childbearing slave. So phony. But millions of women worldwide who've had abortions over the past several decades are coming down with breast cancer at alarmingly increased rates. I'm sure there's other stuff involved, right? Women are more miserable than ever, more angry, more encouraged in their ego. And nothing is worse for the body than feeding that ego. Hey, give more love to your smaller D Live crew, chat. Then people can stop using anti-white YouTube. Shout out to... I follow 5 chats, including Twitch. Shout out to Twitch. And Twitter. Anyway, no sex, no baby, says Mr. Jennings, or Mr. Jennings. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The first epidemiological study to show a link between induced abortion and breast cancer was published in 1957. In 1996, Joel Brind led a research team, published a comprehensive review and meta-analysis of worldwide research on the subject, some 23 studies. Significant 30% increase in breast cancer among women who had an abortion prompted a major decade-long backlash from many mainstream medical organizations, the same medical organizations that support transitioning people who are so-called transgender and support or getting rid of the notion that homosexuality is a mental illness. It's not just a mental illness, it's spiritual death, right? What a mess. Government public health ministries. So anyway, if you don't think politics influences people's science and their trust in the science, then you're mistaken. It's a shame. What a shame. A fake world. We are at the top of the hour, guys. I have some super chats to read. And I have, the lines are full, guys. But, oh, did I not make that? Here, let me, oh, you're right. Here, let me transfer it. I have another track to share with you guys. By a track, I mean a song from the Knights of the New Crusade. It's a great Christian band, or was a great Christian band. And hopefully it'll transfer. I don't know. We'll see. What a mess. I wanted to put in this. It's not transferring, man. Hang on. It's going to, I guess it has to download. Okay. Transferring. Let me read these super chats in the meantime. Animus gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report and said, women think by disrespecting men, and especially beta males, they can remold men into perfection, quote unquote. But they don't realize that they have no idea how men should be, and they have been lied to. All mothers seem to teach their daughters to disrespect men, period, says Animus. Interesting point. That is so true about, they don't have any idea. They're not the ones to define what a man is, although they can smell a fake. True, that's true. But they sometimes pretend that they smell fakeness in the real ones. That is for sure. Noah's Ark, Kansas with a super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. And he asks me a question related to the biblical questions from JLP. He asks, what biblical question stuck with you the most or you thought was Mamma Mia? I liked his question, what's the difference between a liberal and a conservative? And I actually have a call on this. A liberal has anger. A conservative has no anger. Meaning all these people who claim to have conservative ideals, they're really liberals if they have any anger. So check yourself. Anyway, I finally have this Knights of the New Crusade song ready for you guys. It's from the 2004 album, My God is Alive, Sorry About Yours. Lines are full, guys. I will be right back. Enjoy this track called My Way. Is the highway. Just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to get it wrong. My way is the highway. Enjoy, and I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2.
My way is the highway. It's the highway to my Lord. It's the one way. It's the fun way. And it just can't be ignored. Because my way is the highway. It's the highway to my Lord. George sang about his sweet Lord, but then he sang Hare Krishna. When he woke up and he was in hell, well, you know that he was wicked. He taken my way, that's the highway to my Lord. You can drive as fast as you want to, baby, down the highway of the Lord. Yeah, you can drive as fast as you want to, because that's the way to roll. Down the highway of Jesus in the hot rod of your soul.
Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
One nation under God asks, these dudes on mushrooms? I played this music in my attic to kill the mice, says Ian. Yikes. It's always the vocals that are bad, says Vexay. I don't know. I like the vocals. What are you talking about? I like the lyrics, but it's hard to take them seriously when it sounds like a bunch of animals playing, says Lord Grimm. Hake on the tambourine. Was there a tambourine playing? This music is actually pretty cool, James. Thank you, Ragnar0321. Someone with taste. A non-Philistine. The rest of you guys are Philistines, musical Philistines. This is Wignat music, says P. Almas. Yeah, true. What a mess. Anyway, thank you guys bearing with me on that. Beautiful music. Karen Williams with another super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report and says, Hake, I truly love men. It's from the almighty order of the kingdom within. Hug, kiss, heart with arrow through it. Thank you, Karen Williams. I really appreciate that. That's cool. They play this right before waterboarding spies, says Ward Eagle. Terrible. I feel like I was missing a super chat from Trovo.live /The Hake Report, but maybe not. Let me just double check one more thing. Hold on. Oh yeah, okay. It was the Richard Spencer one. Thank you, someone. Shout out for the support, as always. So, let me get to a call or two. First, Art in Ohio. He wants to talk about the difference between a liberal and a conservative. Been on hold forever. What's up, Art? How you doing?
What's up with my man, Hake? And I gotta get straight to it because I gotta get up off here and let you get on to the next callers.
Sounds good.
First of all, hands off. The beta belongs to me. Hands off. And I'm gonna tell you just one last time. The beta's mine. Yeah. Yeah.
What song is that? I don't recognize it. It sounds like a song.
Man, it was one of my little favorite movies back when I was a kid. It's called Once Bitten. It got Jim Carrey in it. And I feel like, man, I was once bitten by a beta liberal.
Okay.
Long story short. So the man, Brent, how was that first caller, Brent?
Brent, he said that he was 48 or so, give or take.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He's 48 years old, and I'm 34, and he thinks that, I mean, I don't know about everybody else who's listening, but if you mean to tell me you think that I believe that you don't know whether with a liberal and a conservative and a Democrat and with a Republican is,
true,
and you don't made it to 48 years of living? Come on, brother. So first thing he said when he first got on the phone call with you that he didn't know what the difference is between both sides and with a liberal and And he said he ain't know nothing about none of that.
Yeah.
Then he came back later on in the conversation and said that, I guess when I was younger, I was a liberal. Hold up. I just thought you just said that you didn't know what the heck the difference was.
Interesting. Good catch.
I just wanted to go to, yeah, I caught that, man. I'm going to catch everything, man. like in the ninth inning, I'm going to definitely catch everything. So,
nice.
So my next thing is, let me go ahead and slide to that. Let me go ahead and pull my evidence up real quick. What it say about your, okay, we're going to go ahead and go to John 0.8, verse 32 to 33. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And they answer him, we be Abraham's seed, and we're never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? And that's that. Hold up. And then it was another verse where it was saying that, I'm going to it right now. Heck, I know, man, I know I get carried away sometimes. Heck, man, don't pay me no mind.
What's the motive for you referencing these verses about knowing the truth?
The first thing is one of your callers was saying, I think it was yesterday on your yesterday's show, that the seed, the man determines the seed in the nation of the child.
Okay.
So whatever I am, my son is going to be. The female doesn't have any say over that, and for anybody that believes that, they're full of shit or whatnot, you know. And my second thing is the man has to put the bread into the oven. You know what I mean? The seed goes out. A female don't have no seed; she only has eggs.
Okay.
The seed goes into her egg which is soil. And that's just common sense. So, and for anybody to not acknowledge that, you just a dang on libtard, a straight libtardation. That's all it is.
But the blood is both the father and the mother, right? Or no?
Well, we ain't talking about. I mean, I guess about the blood. We talking about what the nation is.
Okay.
We talking about who carries the seed. And once again, you steady stuck to this science or whatnot, keep saying, what about the blood? No. The Bible already told you what it is. We got common sense. We know that ain't no female carrying no seed. Of course, the kid going to have some of her blood in her because he's been incubated in her body. We know that.
Right.
So there was something else I was about to, that's what I was going to say. Yesterday, you said something yesterday, and I agree 100% on. You was talking about that dude in the military. He's a libtard. I hate to say it, man, because I seen that video, and I agree with that military dude about being accountable.
Right.
Or whatnot. Yeah, we want to be accountable, but that's beta stuff what you doing. If you in the military and you an alpha, man, ain't no alpha running from no dang on betas. You know what I mean?
You're talking about you're talking about this Marine who resigned from the Marine Corps, Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, who called for accountability in the failure of the Afghanistan pullout. And he said that he was actually suspended, and so he's quitting in order to fight from the outside, take down the system from the outside, I guess, according to him. Yeah. And so you consider him a liberal for that, for quitting.
Yeah, because that's what I said is just like what you was. No, ain't not what I said. What you said, and I agree with you. Is that why are you letting people run you off?
Right.
We need good people. We need allegedly, if you so-called good and you an alpha and you stand for what's right, we need you in that position. We don't need a whole bunch of bad cops run. The bad cops are the ones that got all this nonsense going on, that's causing a lot of these people to be out here trying to riot.
Yeah.
Because they doing bad and messing up. Got everybody thinking everybody out here racist. When the simple fact is, they evil. So for him to be talking about he trying to stand up, no, man, you need to shut your dang on mouth. You scared of somebody in there or something, because ain't nobody, me, I'm talking about art, running me away from nothing. That means the custody courts. That means jail, anything. If I got to die for what I stand for, I'd be damned if I let somebody run me away from anything. So if I'm standing for good, I'm not going to let nobody run me.
I don't want to debate too much about this, but there is a time to fight it out, to stay and fight it out, and there is a time to to let it go?
Well, hold on, check this out. Well, my thing, and this is something else that I have a problem with too, is, I mean, we like to talk about the Negroes and the NIGGAS and stuff. Which
Right.
It's the difference between. But my problem is, what I'm seeming to have a problem is that you got a lot of these white people that don't understand what the heck is going on, and they acting like they in control, but they really ain't. And one of my first points would be is that you sold your own, the white people's basically backstabbing the Negroes or whatnot, have all these other foreigners coming over here into America stepping on the Negroes' toe, and then you turn around and the white people that punched the Afghans in the nose, and the Afghans was like, we gonna come over there and we gonna tear America up. Like that was 10 years ago. Y'all flying them over here on airplanes and feeding the wild, undomesticated cats.
Yeah.
And you think that they gonna be trying to be friends with you whites?
Right.
If you don't sold out your own alleged Negro slaves from back in the day, what makes you think that these other nations don't see what you're doing? You think they coming over here to be y'all's friend? So for y'all white people, all y'all white people, I don't know what to tell you. All the cards are stacked up against you. I don't know what them liberal whites, y'all letting them run everything or whatnot, and they basically got terrorists over here. And only thing I can see from now on is it's going to be a lot worse here in America.
Yeah,
America's
bringing in America's enemies. It's so evil.
Yes, it is, and God bless America, but I don't know what to tell y'all. This ship looking like the Titanic right about now.
Yeah, what a shame.
It's a shame, but God bless you, Hake. I'll catch you like, hey, man, they quit. Man, get off the NIGG stuff, man. Let it go, man. We got too much time. We got way bigger fish to fry than we're talking about that, man. That stuff is over with, man. Ain't nobody. We got way bigger fish to be fried.
Very true. I just want to help point it out. Maybe there's some, like, you know, John from Kentucky really doesn't understand the situation. I was just trying to help him understand.
One more thing, and you know, it really ain't about the NIGGA. It's about, as a man, if I tell you I don't want you to say something, just like if you tell me you don't want me to say something, I ain't gonna come up to you like, hey, that is say what you told me not to say. Cause
right.
As a man, that's gonna make you want to fight me. And as men, if you don't respect what we say, we gonna punch you in the damn nose. You gotta get your eyes black, man. You gonna lose your teeth. And me, RDR, baby.
Nice.
I got all my teeth at 34 years old. Mine is a couple.
I think that these blacks think that I go around, or that I would go around saying the N-word to blacks, just all willy-nilly and disrespectful and stupid and looking to get beat. Like, I don't know that blacks are violent and overreact to a white person saying that word. I already know that.
Well,
why would I?
Well,
they don't actually know. They don't know how I use it. They just presume to know, and they don't have any idea.
Yeah, well, who cares? Just like you said on the last conversation, you said, damn, Hake, you got me thinking too dang on fast. Basically, man, you said it's about respect, Hake. That's
right.
what you said.
Yeah.
And you don't say it because you have respect. To the people that don't have respect, they don't care. So, I mean,
right.
That lets me know what type of person you is, and that's the type of person I won't deal with. If you can't respect me on certain words, then that let me know I need to back off, pull away from you, because you gonna mess with my inner peace, and you gonna make me turn into the devil, which I don't want to turn into the devil.
But isn't it funny how blacks overreact to whites saying it, but blacks say it more maliciously toward each other than whites say it to blacks? Whites will say it just as a joking around, and blacks will take it all seriously and clamp down on the whites for saying it. It's so ridiculous. It's a double standard.
I think it's more so why the blacks is so more comfortable with saying it, because we being brought up and raised is something that's in our blood. And I think that a lot of blacks that take offense to when white people do say it is because we feel like they're trying to be something that they're not. It's called being yourself. Quit trying to, even if you was brought up in a black neighborhood, be yourself. It's a reason why I like talking to Hake. It's a reason why I like certain white peoples, and I don't like other ones. I like the genuine, true ones that are being themselves, because me, RDR, baby, I'm going to be myself, and I expect Hake to like me for being myself. And if Hake don't like me for being myself, then I don't need to be talking to Hake.
Right. I appreciate it, Art. Thank you, man.
All right, God bless you. I'll catch y'all later, man. Tell Nick, Chris, Daniel, Joel and Jess, I'll catch y'all later.
Sounds good, man. Take care. Very nice. Javier is a first-time caller in Minnesota. He wants to talk about how to prove that transgenderism is wrong. Javier, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good, Hank. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, here's the thing. Everybody's going crazy. And I just spoke to Jesse about this, how I'm having to homeschool my kid because everybody wants to transform kids into transgenders.
Are you on a speakerphone? Are you outside?
No, I'm inside.
Okay.
And
so you want to homeschool?
Yeah, well, I'm going to homeschool my kid because of this whole transgender issue. And so the other day, I called into I'm not going to say the name of the show, but it was an atheist show, and I asked them a simple question to where I said, "What is so wrong about believing in God?" And what they said is, they said somewhere around the lines of, well, you shouldn't believe anything that isn't true. And so I just pulled up the question and said, so what about transgenders?
Uh-huh.
And it's lit.
That's funny.
It's like,
they were liberal atheists?
Who? Them? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all liberal atheists.
So they support the transgender madness.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Nice.
And so they got triggered just by me asking a simple question.
Right.
It was just a simple question. So, I mean, because they're all telling people God isn't real, this and that and that. But when you actually, I mean, who believes that transgenders are? You know what I'm saying? And so it's and how do you explain to someone that liberal, or I don't know if you can even get to their...
I think you answered your own question. They should know by seeing their overreaction. That once they calm down, they'll realize I overreacted because he told me the truth and he exposed my total hypocrisy. I can't believe the truth that there's a God, and I can't believe the truth that transgenders are deluded.
Yeah, and I even told him I'll put in $5,000 to go and debate you anywhere you want.
Uh-huh.
And he accepted.
Why would you?
And I'm like,
offer to debate? Offer money to debate? What the heck?
Well, because he has a really big following.
But you don't pay. You don't offer them $5,000 to debate them. What kind of? You're throwing money away.
I know that's the whole thing. But at least I can expose him in person because he didn't let me talk during the phone call. He was muting me. I was never disrespectful. I was never rude. And I should email you this one so you can see.
Oh, okay.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah, send me the email, Javier. I appreciate it, man. But good luck homeschooling your kids. Is your wife around too to help their mother?
Yeah.
You're married to their mother?
I am. I'm a very conservative person. Here's the only thing where...
How old are you?
Like 35.
35. But don't throw $5,000 away for just to debate some stupid atheist. What the heck?
Well,
it sounds like you're looking for notoriety rather than
not
just
at all.
living the truth.
I already have kind of a...
You just said it's a big
following.
platform. That's notoriety.
Anything. I'm not plugging anything. I have a YouTube channel, and I have kind of a decent following. And
what a mess.
Yeah, I know. And so the thing is I'm a very conservative person, but
it's not conservative to offer a guy $5,000.
What it is that somehow,
especially an atheist,
called on their crap. And since he has a really big following,
I know that's worldly thinking, man. What in the world?
No, I mean money's money. I make it up. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
Worldly thinking. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, somehow. But I mean, just to get his attention, I trolled him so much to the point.
All right, I gotta go, Javier. I appreciate your call, man.
All right, no worries.
You're not wrong about the transgenderism thing. You're not wrong necessarily to want to keep your kids away from the evil. But you got to watch yourself because you'll send your kids the other way. They're going to reject you if you stay on the wrong path. Thinking that you're right. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Does that make sense?
In a way, but I mean.
All right, we'll talk. Take care, Javier.
Away in Las Vegas, so I was like, yeah. But anyways,
one wrong doesn't justify the other.
I get it.
You're Hispanic?
I am Mexican.
Okay. Well, take care, man. I wish you well, for sure.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye. Man. Paying to argue because you think it will make you look good, says Canadian David. Guys, the big platform isn't what changes people's minds. You have to live it. As JLP says, all this deplatforming stuff, it's not something to overreact to. It's not something to be angry at. It is something to fight against because it is unjust. But your life is your platform, and it's much more powerful. When you're real, and when you're... Look how Jesus did it. He did it in person. And he made a major impact. He changed the world. But there's a whole lot of phony followers of Jesus who are ineffective at it. What a mess. Terrible mess. Before I get back to calls, should I play this thing? This thing was going around. I might as well play this. It's ridiculous. This is clip 12 from yesterday or something. This was floating around over a year ago in June of 2020. It's a bunch of liberal, this is a bunch of liberal people who teamed up. By people, I mean actors, actual actors, like Hollywood actors, I think. I don't know if I could name one of them, who teamed up with the NAACP in June of 2020. This was amid the Georgia-Florida overreaction, and it was floating around on Twitter last week. And I just want to remind you how stupid people are. And then nobody was falling for it, including the liberals were not falling for this, because they hate white people and they can see through the phoniness of the white people. It's kind of like what you heard with Art from Ohio, with whites posing like they're wiggers, blacks saying the N-word, pretending to be something they're not, because in their regular speech they don't say the N-word. But it's so tempting to when you're Art, you got to understand, it's so tempting to when it is a banned word. It is, what's that word when you're not supposed to do something? Taboo. The taboos. When you tell somebody they can't say something or do something, it makes them want to do it and say it. So whites will call each other N-words all the time. Some whites, some of them. The ones with fear, right? Anyway, here is a bunch of supposedly white actors and actresses. And for the podcast listeners, this was recorded like on a cell phone, vertical. So it belongs more like on World Star Hip Hop. And the title of this video, which was put up on YouTube and shared on Twitter and all that stuff, is called I Take Responsibility. And it's on the channel ITR, short for I Take Responsibility. It's so dumb. Listen to this and watch it. It's only about 2 minutes long. Cringe all you want. Enjoy.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment.
For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away police brutality.
Forget her.
Or turned a blind eye.
I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters.
Our friends, our family. We are done watching them die. We are no longer bystanders. We will not be idle. Enough is enough.
I will no longer allow an unchecked moment. I will no longer allow racist, hurtful words, jokes, stereotypes, no matter how big or small, to be uttered in my presence.
I will not turn a blind eye. Going for a jog should not be a death sentence. Sleeping in your own home should not be a death sentence.
Playing video games with your nephew should not be a death sentence.
Shopping in a store should not be a death sentence. Business as usual should not be life-threatening. I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I stand against hate.
I will stand against hate in love. I will make my presence known.
You
And
don't have
killer
love.
cops must be prosecuted. They are murderers.
Oh,
We can
forget
turn
that
the
guy.
tide. It is time to take responsibility. Call out hate. Step up and take action.
That's the guy from that's the guy from that TV show Breaking Bad, right? Terrible. It is. Oh, that's embarrassing. That was one of the only guys I recognized. There's a bunch of actors, right? Actresses. Death sentence. Okay. The other one I said, forget that woman. She's a red-haired. All of these were recorded in like grayscale, black and white. They got rid of the color. But there was this red-headed woman who is the daughter. I want to say that's the daughter of, unless I'm confusing her with like Chastain or something, but the daughter of that red-haired guy from he was the Fonz. He was not the Fonz, but he was the red-haired friend of the Fonz from Happy Days. Ron Howard's daughter, right? Wasn't that Ron Howard's daughter? She spoke, and a whole bunch of, Ron Howard, the director, right? A bunch of phony people. Was it Jessica Chastain? Oh, okay, I guess that's the same person. There's another woman who looks a lot like her to my eyes because they all look the same to me. Who's actually even more feminist? Yeah, Dallas Bryce Howard. Yeah, Jessica Chastain is different from Dallas Bryce Howard, but they look the same to me, I think. Or Bryce Dallas Howard, whatever. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That was overreaction, and it's so phony. I mean, it's so communist and propagandistic because the people who are being slaughtered are the babies that they support killing the babies. Opie Taylor. Is that the name? And, black on black violence, black on white crime. All of those dwarf the police killings, most of which were justified. Use of force experts said that they were justified most of the time. They mentioned Breonna Taylor. She wasn't sleeping in her home, and that wasn't the death sentence. She was ex-girlfriends with a drug dealer and girlfriends with a man who shot at the cops, sleeping with her unmarried, by the way. In her apartment. Talk about a bad situation. Bad music, bad clips, you're killing us, Hake, says Peter Almus. Ridiculous. Sleeping unmarried is not a death sentence. Sleeping together unmarried is not a death sentence, says Nick. Terrible. And, I take responsibility for every not so funny joke. Nothing you people do is funny anymore. I stand against cringy Holly weird phonies and pedophiles. Firing a gun at the police is not a death sentence, says Chris. That's right, it's not a death sentence. They weren't sentenced to death, dummies. They were killed in a conflict. Oh, and the liberals didn't fall for this either. It was covered in the Daily Beast as a cringy video. But then they said, the words are laudable. Covered by some dumb woman, right? So the words aren't laudable. It's such a phony. It is what they call gaslighting. It's lying to the blacks. It is lying to the whites. It's lying to everybody. All this blind brainwashing that all this racism exists. And this is part of why Dylan Roof reacted the way he did. He overreacted to the lies, the blatant lies, seeing that the world around him was filled with liars, and then he bought the ultimate lie of anger. And he overreacted and killed a bunch of people thinking that would help the situation. So these people are responsible for radicalizing people. What a mess. It's an agenda, yeah? Worthy of cringe. Cringe-worthy. It was mostly females. I don't even know if a single one of those was a Christian or even pretended to be a Christian. I don't know if any one of those was like a normal, ordinary white person. A lot of them go into Hollywood and get brainwashed a little bit and fall for it. But I had to share that with you. Finally, it was disgusting enough. There, it's out of my system. By the way, is this real or fake? Speaking of hype, fake hype. I saw this. It was a screenshot from Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok. A local doctor from Rochester, New York, named Maureen Rebecca Slattery, says, and I don't know if this is true, but she will give lesser care to the unmodified. Unmodified meaning unvaccinated. Modified your DNA, right? mRNA, messenger RNA, ribonucleic acid. To mess with your deoxyribonucleic acid, your DNA. Don't ask me what that word means. I just learned it in 7th grade. That's what DNA stands for. Deoxyribonucleic acid. I still remember it. Doesn't mean anything. Hake is indoctrinating us with bad music and clips. Maureen Rebecca purportedly said, according to this screenshot, if this is not a hoax, when you come into my hospital unvaccinated, dying of COVID, fat chance, but woman, I'm giving my energy and resources to those who cared enough about me on the front lines for the past 18 months and my young kids to get vaccinated. Sorry, not sorry. Choices are about to have big-time consequences from this thing that kills like less than 1% of people, right? Supposedly, who catch it. I will choose not to help you when the resources are limited because I care about me, not you. How do you like them apples? Is that true? You know, honestly, I wouldn't doubt it coming from a nasty woman who's a nasty liberal who falls for this madness and hype. I wouldn't doubt it. By the way, let me briefly show you these nicey nice pictures. Speaking of this fake nicey nicey. Yeah, I know, callers are a-waiting, LJ Fox says. My DNA is an acid? Deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Yeah, your DNA is acid. So when you guys drop acid, you could just say it's natural. It is an acid. Anyway, look at these screenshots of this website that is cruising to get sued by, is it Texas citizens or is it just American citizens? I heard that anywhere in the United States, according to this new Texas law that came into existence, it's now a law, went into law, SB 8, says you can't kill the baby in the womb if it has a heartbeat, a detectable heartbeat, which happens roughly 6 weeks, oftentimes before a woman knows it. Well, there is this, and a citizen can sue you civilly for damages, $10,000 or more in damages, anywhere in the country, according to the news report, for aiding and abetting in killing a baby who has a heartbeat, a baby who has a heartbeat in the womb. That means driving a woman to the abortion mill, to the baby killing mill, or funding a poor woman who can't afford to kill her baby. And there is this website called the Bridge Collective. And look at these screenshots. I have like too many screenshots of this place. Has a beautiful field with daisies or something like that. Live in Austin and need Plan B? Need a ride to your appointment at an abortion clinic? Call us at 512 blah 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 blah. That is the publicly given number on their publicly given website, The Bridge Collective. So I'm not doxing anybody here. I'm not saying call them. Have nothing to do with those people. Don't be evil. We are here to bridge the gap. Bridge the gap. Learn more about our volunteer positions and donor programs. Support us as we support women killing their babies in the womb. It's disgusting. help deliver reproductive health kits. Austinites need your help. Sign up as a volunteer. There is a whole women's network, basically. And I say women's because it's a female-minded thing to do. Live in Austin and need Plan B, which is an abortion pill. The day after you have sex, you take this abortion pill that kills the baby after it's conceived, after the baby, he or she, is conceived. Probably a she, because betas make girls. And betas have sex out of wedlock, and betas get with women who would get an abortion pill. Anyway, every dollar donated goes directly toward bridging the gap between individuals and their rights to kill the baby in the womb. Terrible, huh? That's the Bridge Collective. Who knew that the Bridge Collective, would you have ever guessed that the Bridge Collective would support baby killing, bridging the gap between women and the killing of their children in the womb and flushing them out of their body or vacuuming or whatever they do. All kinds of different things. Take them out in pieces. They do that. Sick. They give transportation, health kits, volunteers, donations. And by the way, the Bridge Collective stands with protesters. Black Lives Matter. That was a June 4th, 2020 post. That's like one of the most recent blog posts from their disgusting website. We have devastated by the murders of George Floyd and Mike Ramos, whoever that is. George Floyd was not murdered. It's a murder with an asterisk. Murder according to a corrupt kangaroo court, right? Headed by none other than that an Antifa-supporting, lying Muslim communist Keith Ellison, who's the Attorney General of the state of, what was that? St. Louis, Missouri. What a shame. The guy who swore his oath of office on a Quran and not the Bible. That's how disgusting that Keith Ellison is. And he's a total phony. So anyway, a sick world, a lying world. Brandon M. says, it sure would stink if that money was wasted on false pickup calls. Yeah, I think there's better ways to spend your time. But that's what they're trying to do. You know, there was this Texas Right to Life outfit that is for stopping the killing of the babies. And they set up a website, a tip line place, right? A website in which you can report people who are aiding and abetting the killing of the babies who have heartbeats in Texas. And that website has been flooded with spam too. The evil people pushing evil, aiding and abetting the killing of babies. Maybe you should go prosecute or civilly sue all of those trolls. Ledge Klinger says, Art's my brother from another tribe. Keep up the great work, Hake. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Asmodor says, mixed people always want to be able to pick and choose which side of their ancestry they are. A child is a component of the DNA of his mother and his father, whether betas can accept reality or not. So, let me get to Christina in Sacramento, California. Christina, thank you for holding, and it was nice to see you this past weekend. Christina, are you on mute? Take your phone off of mute, Christina.
Phone is off of mute.
Nice.
You know, it's interesting how the last three clips that you shared all had to do with just the brazenness of my gender. And on behalf of all of them, I apologize.
Okay, accepted.
Okay, I appreciate that. It is not easy, you know, having to live. I can imagine for you guys, you know, it's just like slim pickings out there. Boy, oh boy. I mean, you know, and I think I was trying to look up the quote. I believe it was from Lenin or Marx or one of these individuals that said that the way to, you know, sustain and start a revolution is by using the women, and it was even the ugly ones.
Yeah, and the young people.
Yes, I forget the exact quote, but Lenin knew it back then. You know, use the women and the youngsters to start the revolution, and it's working.
Yeah.
it's very unfortunate that it is, but I think about like that clip that you showed about the actors. I just think it's white guilt. I think these people have white guilt, and they feel guilty about the money that they're just inheriting and they didn't really work for.
Right.
Or maybe they did, I don't know. And so this is their way, I think, in their distorted brain to try and ease the conscience of the fact that they just get to sit down and do nothing and collect all this money.
Right. Because Hollywood is overfunded by the corruption of the people who are so eager to get entertainment. What a shame.
It is a shame, you know, and it doesn't take much. I think about, especially female actresses now, all they got to do is just accept a part where they got to take their clothes off. It's like, wow. And they do it. It's like, gosh, you know, you don't even get paid to be a porn star. You just take your clothes off. And I'm thinking how just degrading it is. But they don't think about that, obviously, you know, so.
Ill-gotten gain. It's it's evil. That's why, that's why I liked Bill Lockwood's definition of capitalism as freedom. And that's what I think of it as, freedom. But you can't have freedom without morality. So you can't have capitalism without Christianity. Otherwise, it's going to devolve into communism because it's all lies. That's why the biggest companies are all supporting the destruction of America.
Yeah, and good luck. You know, once this country goes the ways of all the rest of them, there's going to be nowhere. I mean, Reagan was right. This is the last best hope.
Yeah.
I think good luck. I don't know where else people are going to go. Honestly, this is it. I mean, I had no idea. COVID really, I did know that people are brainwashed and easily manipulated, but I had no idea the entire world was so easily manipulated. I thought maybe America, a couple of other countries, but wow, it's a whole globe.
Oh, yeah.
Of people.
That's why they want to push this globalist thing, because they see how people are willing to follow the crowd. The Asians tend to fall in line and obey. And the blacks don't, but they're easily swayed. They'll fall in line if you urge them to hate the white people. And the women are easily swayed, and the men are just taught to be nice and weak. And so it's a big mess.
It is a big mess. But I do have to say that there is one family that is awake to the best of their ability up here in Northern California. And I, for one, I realize that, you know, there's been the mistakes, but I've learned through the mistakes personally. And because of it, it has helped my family. And your crew, if you guys ever just know that, you need to get up here and go to one of the rallies or protests up here at our Capitol.
Nice.
You're more than welcome to do that. We have a big, beautiful suburban house in a safe neighborhood that my husband works very hard for.
Yeah.
And I have the honor of living in and cleaning and cooking in. And because of that, there's peace and harmony as much as there can be in our home. And so you guys have a safe place to be if you want to come up and do anything up here at the Capitol.
I appreciate that. That's cool. It was great seeing you. I appreciate you coming down to Modesto, driving down to Modesto for the Straight Pride rally or event.
It's funny, James. I wanted to share that I was born and raised and welcome to the club, you know, right? But I was born and raised into a very dysfunctional, liberal Democrat home with all the problems. And I grew up in that, and it took everything, you know, it's by the grace of God I was able to get out of that.
Yeah.
But I was filled with anger for a long time. And when things started shifting and I started going to rallies, the purpose of my going to rallies was that was my way of yelling at my family because they would go to the rallies and they wouldn't go at the same time that I would go, but they would go to rallies and they'd post it on social media and whatnot. And I had this little hatred in me that fueled me to go to the rallies. And I would be one of the screamers and yellers. And it was completely for the wrong intention. And it wasn't until I started waking up and started realizing that my family couldn't help it and forgiving and whatnot, that now my complete intention on going to rallies and whatnot, I don't go with any preconceived notion or emotion or anything. I just go because it's just the right thing to do and because I want to try to preserve our Christian, Judeo-Christian heritage of our country.
Yeah.
And it's a nice way to go. My foot just gets on the gas pedal, and all of a sudden I'm there, and I'm holding an American flag.
Right on.
You know, it's just natural now.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's the
but
best way to
guess
be.
I had to go from that. It is, really. And if people yell or whatever, the police come, oh, well, you know what, another day on planet Earth, and then you just, whatever happened, it's all just natural.
How'd you
beautiful
feel about
place.
were you concerned about seeing Antifa? Or were you concerned about Antifa possibly attacking us?
No.
Beforehand?
Not
or
at
during?
all. I didn't even, no. At first, when I didn't know because I went alone, but I didn't go alone. You know, God was with me is the way I see it. I look at it that God is with me, and so I don't feel like I have to go, you know, with a pistol or none of that kind of stuff in my head.
Yeah.
I saw Proud Boys there, and they kind of, I didn't know, they kind of all looked the same. They just like all looked like young kids with gaiters on, you know, so I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea.
You had no idea that they were the good guys?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not showing anything, or it's just people hanging out. And so I had to walk by a big group of young men, and I thought, there's no need for them to come and beat me up or something, you know. I mean, I just didn't feel anything. I just walked by them and then come to find out they were Proud Boys.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know. So I don't know, James. I just didn't feel anything. I just felt like this is the right thing to do on a Saturday.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. And it was a good feeling. And I didn't, you know, I wasn't like thinking about that feeling or anything like that. It was just, I don't know. It was just a normal day to me just to be out there. And then the thing is that when the SWAT team shows up and jumps out of the car, it can look scary, but I don't think about that either. I just think, okay, if I'm going to start screaming at the cops and throwing things at them, then of course that's going to be, you know,
right.
Right, but there's no need to lead to anything.
Yeah.
It's just being a presence there and being supportive, and knowing that I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
It
Cool.
helps me. Yeah. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Well, I appreciate it, Christina. Take care.
Thanks.
It was great to see you. All right.
And you. Bye.
Bye. You know, there's this Revolver exclusive that you might want to check out. No, that's not Chris from Arizona, Chrissy. That's Christina from Sacramento, California. Different Chris. Revolver has this exclusive. If you thought classrooms were bad, there's a more toxic strain of critical race theory flowing from U.S. courtrooms. That's why, it's part of why I tell you guys, don't be trusting the courts or looking to the courts. Some of you guys thought that the courts were going to save us with the election shenanigans, and nope, I knew that wasn't true. A terrible mess. Check that out. I do encourage you to check that out. Lin Yan Chin says, the bottom line of globalism is to collect all the resources and subvert all opposition to the elite minority elitist minority that, or we are the elite, as Trump says. We are the elite. They are losers, but elitists, meaning arrogant, that orchestrates it all. They want population reduction to the point of no opposition to their fickle vanity a la pride, or AKA pride. I'm not sure what he means. But thank you, Lin Yan Chin. You know, if you look at the EU is all mad because they have supposedly 70% vaccination rate of their adult population, supposedly. Whereas America has men and some women who are not just so easily led along. They want to pause and wait and see for themselves, right? They are not so easily led like sheep to the slaughter, falling in line, because they're not so prone to communism. They're more freedom-minded. They're more independent thinking. They're more wait and see for yourselves. Some people are a little reckless about it, I admit. Some people are reckless and unhealthy too. You want to be healthy. You want to be healthy. That is, eat your vegetables, eat your fruit, eat your enough meat, protein, whatever. Get your rest, get your sleep, get your exercise, get your sunshine. Keep a personal space with people. That's your best protection, not this Not these artificial things so much. Those artificial things may help for some. But the EU is all mad because the US doesn't fall in line up to their standards for the pandemic measures, right? Meaning fewer Americans per capita are quote-unquote vaccinated against this China virus. And we don't even know the long-term effects or how well it's going to work for long-term. They keep on saying booster shots, and there's a big controversy even among the scientists, even among liberal scientists. So it just reminds me of how these dumb socialists who are enemies of America, such as Bernie Sanders, the communist, who says America is the last developed country that doesn't have universal health care or something like that. Communist. We're not supposed to fall in line and follow the trend. We're supposed to set the example. All those other countries are dumb liberal countries. And yes, we're becoming increasingly a dumb liberal country, but we're not as off the deep end as Europe, which has zero freedom of speech. Granted, we don't really have true freedom of speech. De facto, we don't. Only de jure. And even the juries don't support it. What a mess. Terrible. Let me finally get to my favorite caller, Maze, in Dayton, Ohio. We're at a few minutes left. The lines are full, guys. Maze, thank you for holding. Thank you for calling. What's up?
Hi, James. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Well, I don't want to be long. I have 3 questions.
Go for it.
Now, the protest that you did the other day, and there was some more people across the street having a protest. Why can those people, everybody have their own protests and mind their own business and not dabbling in someone else's?
Because people like to talk to one another, and then some people are looking for a fight.
Oh, so there was 3 different guards out there.
Huh?
You had the one that said he was a Proud Boy, and then you had your group, and then the other group across the street. So there were 3 different guards.
3 different gods?
Yes, because when people say God, doesn't mean the Father God. They talking about some other God that they are.
The Proud Boys were for morals too, so they were on our side.
Well, I don't know. Sad. I wonder how would you feel if you was in a group of people that where people could do what they wanted to do and not be in other people's business and complaining. How would you feel if you were around a group of people like that and they were not liberal or conservative, because they are the same?
That's not realistic, Maze. The world is always going to encroach on your world, so you can't have this fake libertarian ideal of, leave everybody alone and I'll leave them alone. No, that's not how the world works. You are a woman and you sit down and the man encroaches on the world or gets encroached upon in the world. The man has to push his weight around and be a man.
Can I get to my second question?
Go ahead.
Is this the only country that worried about abortion, or do we have other people in other countries worried about abortion?
Other countries are outlawing abortion as well. Yes.
Oh, they are?
And some of them are starting to allow it, and that's wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, whose business is it if that's what they want to do?
Because it's killing a baby in the womb, and no society should allow a woman to kill the baby in the womb, nor a doctor.
Well, what are you going to do when they tell you?
The men should not allow that to happen.
So, James, since you're a man and think that men can do everything, which you can't do nothing by itself. But anyway, if they told you, well, since we shortage of kids, we need every man to get married and have a baby. Are you going to agree with that?
No, because that's not even biblical.
Don't have one?
That's not even biblical, Mace.
None of it is biblical. I just asked you a question.
Yes, it is.
I was wondering
thou shalt not. What part of
that.
thou shalt not kill don't you understand?
If you don't have nothing
what
to
part
kill,
of thou shalt not kill don't you understand?
Kill what? I mean, because if you got
that's
men
in the
want to
Bible.
You got men want to be women, and what are they messing up? If they're the seed, and if there's no more seeds, what's gonna happen? It'll just be a whole lot of women, right?
Ethan James, I think Ethan
use their brain
James is
for what
calling.
it's worth.
Ethan James, are you calling me corny, or are you comparing maize to corn? Because maize is a word for corn, but maize is M-A-Z-E, people, not M-A-I-Z-E.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
The one that you go through, a maze that you go through, not corn.
And it's a maze anytime we have a conversation.
Sometimes you have to sit down and listen to the evil stuff that people think is good.
Right.
And then you say, what God are they serving? Because you find that if you're serving the Father, you don't have hatred and you don't do hatred thing, and then you don't complain about people.
Okay. Very deep, Maze. You know what? I gotta run.
Yeah. And tell Captain, what's that lady that was at the protest with you all?
Christina from Sacramento.
And all them fat men that was out there walking around, tell them they need to start walking and lose some weight.
Okay. Good word.
A whole lot of them are fat out there.
But
and I don't know if women or not.
Why are you telling Christina that? She's not fat.
I'm not telling Christina. I was saying her voice and her face went together. Now I understand. That's what I said about her. But all those fat men, that's what's wrong with them. They need a helpmate to keep them on the way.
Did you know that?
Not overweight.
Anyway, whatever.
Have a good one.
You too. Your anniversary clock is going off. It means it's time to end. Take care. All right, guys. Josh in Wisconsin, Jeremiah in Louisiana, and the rest of the callers. I cannot get to you. Take care. TheHakeReport.com. We will have, even though it's not prepared yet fully, we will, I do believe, have a Bond Sunday service throwback 4 p.m. Pacific time today on Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. It's not up yet, but it will be. Thanks, guys, and take care.